Welcome to the B-Sides and Beers podcast.
Welcome to B-Sides and Beers, episode 95. Tonight we're talking the weekend. What's going on?
Weekend.
Almost the weekend.
Almost the weekend.
Yeah, we're close. Mini Friday.
We're talking the weekend on a Thursday / mini Friday.
That's right. I didn't even realize the spelling was missing that E up until today. Did not even know.
Well, hey, and you know why? Let's start off with a hot fact. I think this is the earliest hot fact that we've ever come out with. So let's bring it out.
Hot facts.
It's time to bring it back. First of all, this guy's, outside of Toronto, right? Caribbean neighborhood. Does this sound familiar? Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about snow.
Infama. Yep.
This is
Similar hood.
Yeah. Very, very similar upbringing on that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Where are we going? I just thought it's 10 inches of snow there for a second. What was the question?
I think it was a
hot fact.
But I got a question. So did he grow up in the same neighborhood as snow?
No, but it just sounded the same. It all when we were doing that research, it just sounded like it was snow driven.
Yep. From Scarborough to Toronto.
Yeah.
He just left home right after right after high school, and then never
didn't even graduate, man. Didn't even graduate.
Nothing.
Out of
Just
there
left.
And making
Partying, living the hedonistic lifestyle.
Yeah.
Of Toronto.
The underground, the deep seedy underground of Toronto.
Yep.
Hanging out
Which
with
is
Maestro.
all just Sookyun Lee, I bet.
Oh yeah. Nothing but Sookyun for sure.
Yeah.
Dirty drugs. Lots of that. But hey, the weekend. Here we go. Hot fact, the weekend. Here we go. I'll come back to it now. Full circle. The Weekend is a 2000s band from Canada, I found out, and that's why he changed his name. So then I went looking for The Weekend to see what they sound like, and they sound like a mix of Veruca Salt meets Avril Lavigne in 2000. So
that's about right for Canadian can rock. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what that was. So he decided to change his name because of that band. That's your hot fact.
Hot facts. That's a good reason to change the name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus fly.
It does look fly.
Doesn't it sound like Sleep Token and vice versa?
The name?
No, like The Weekend, like the vocal delivery. Like I listened to a bunch of it, and it sounded very much the same.
It's dark and very similar with the higher end vocals. Yeah.
The falsetto. Yeah.
Lots of falsetto. Yeah.
The very what do you call that kind of sound? Aeromatic?
The atmosphere.
Sure, I go with that. I know what you mean.
Dreamy, synthy.
Yeah.
Dark synth, dreamy.
Yeah.
Kind of puts you into that. Like, ooh, this could be
dark with 80s synth vibes.
Yeah.
Swooning, man. They're swooning for that kind of stuff. Yeah. Number one in the world for a reason.
Which is unreal. I just, I only heard a handful of songs over the last couple years, and it's like, it's okay. But once you get into more of the non-radio hits, other than, Can't Feel My Face or whatever, the cocaine song, other than that, it's just, I didn't put
killer bass line on that though, man. I love that bass line.
It
needs to keep going at the end of that song.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a club mix, but I need to hear more of that bass line.
So there's definitely I don't know if it's a progression or a transition into more. It was almost like poppy, kind of like hip hop beats, R&B.
Yeah.
Then it goes to this like very poppy, and he figures out the 80s gated drums or whatever. It's very Stranger Things type of whatever. And then he kind of goes into a little bit more, I would say, progressive, almost like um it's almost like the latest one is almost like a concept record. I don't know if you guys got
Yeah, it's
that,
like a little
but
kind of David Bowie feel to it, like
yeah.
Yeah.
going that direction. Yeah.
And he's like all old on the cover and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
where are
Yeah.
you guys on that spectrum?
I find a lot of his stuff is very like if you just listen to a song here and a song there, it's like whatever. It feels like disposable pop. But when you listen to any of the albums, even back to his first one, where it's very cinematic. Like this every album could be the background
Right.
to like Blade Runner or that kind of a vibe to it. So yeah, the more I dug into it as each individual album as a whole, the more I understood what was going on. So
Yeah, man, I always dug when like artists or bands do an entire album soundtrack for a
Yeah.
movie. I always thought that was killer. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like a full work that you're doing and taking
Yeah.
on rather than just contributing one song that you probably already released.
It's sort of like it's not galvanizing, but it's sort of like it's almost like the grout within
Yeah.
each scene of the movie, and it's
Yeah.
consistent. It's not all like, oh, we've got like whatever the new pop star song here just because we have to.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it holds it all together.
Yeah.
For sure. And if you're Will Smith, you're just making movies and making the songs for it. So you're just getting double pay on that one.
yeah.
Wow, wow, West.
Wow,
The
wow,
wow,
West.
That's right.
But I mean, this is like what the 70th reincarnation of Michael Jackson at this point, right? Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Obviously.
Pretty much.
right? I mean, where are we at? We got Justin Timberlake, we got Bruno Mars, we got,
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera. And now we got this cat. And I mean, I'm not taking anything away from his talent. I can't sing like that. Awesome. But, I mean, let's be honest. This has been done. I mean, he covers Dirty Diana on like one of those initial mixtapes, right? He calls it DD, so like maybe you don't know,
Yeah.
you don't figure it out, but like we know what this song is. It sounds exactly the same, but yeah, I mean, it's just we've talked about this before in probably like podcast number 6, episode 6, maybe, but like bringing that sound to the new generation, it feels like, and this is another example of that, right? It's just obviously Michael was huge in the 80s. Now let's bring this, update it and add a whole bunch of swears and make it like you said, dark and kind of mysterious, and boom, we're number one in the world.
Resell, repackage.
Yep.
But what's impressive for me is the fact that he's releasing all this on his own label. Right? Or am I wrong on that? XO?
XO, yeah, that's his thing there. Like whatever it is, Oxycontin and something else. That's what it means.
I thought it was Kiss Hug. Well,
no, that's what everybody thinks it means. Apparently, again, I don't know. This is what I read. It's like Oxy and something else. Like, okay.
But he's the CEO and he seems to be doing his thing. So, I mean, regardless if he's rehashing, he's also making bank and keeping control of everything. So I mean that's worth a high five.
Oh yeah,
totally. He's crushing it.
He's got like some kind of $250 million like car collection that he's
good for him.
He's doing pretty good and
doing all right.
Yeah, checked out his mansion. He's living large. When you're number one in the world, life is good.
So can we just circle back to the albums, because I've done my like random listens here and there, but I started today with Dawn FM, and I thought it was really good. It's actually really great music to paint a bathroom too. It keeps it nice and slow. You don't rush.
Yeah,
but it was really dark. It was this sort of, and like Queens of the Stone Age have done this sort of like radio theme, whatever. You're kind of immersed in this sort of like weird station that doesn't exist, but it's very like, there's a lot of like suicidal innuendos and I don't know. I maybe it's just the times or whatever, but it was a bit like shocking for me.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. Like it really made me sort of not just consider it just a pop album, but
Yeah.
like it really had kind of a comment on something that I think a lot of people are
Hmm.
whatever dealing with.
Totally. And that's I guess the difference between, that and Michael Jackson, right? Like it's I think it's way deeper in
Yeah.
that sense, right? Than that ever was. But, and it's not disposable pop, right?
No.
Like it's not that way. So, and the guy is talented. Like you see him live, he's fantastic. And I don't know if we were talking this off a podcast or on podcast last time, but the Super Bowl performance that
Hmm.
he did was awesome.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was real good. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's on YouTube now or whatever, but like it was good. We were all pretty, we were pumped up for it just to see what the guy could do. And it was well done. So
Spent 7 million of his own money, apparently.
wow.
To pull that off.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, he's got it, so why not
that's worth it.
make it the
Right.
show? Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, and lots of albums too, right?
Yeah.
Like considering, but yeah, I read too, like after he came up with those, these three mixtapes at the beginning, and then he came out, with the trilogy, and then he came out with this Kissland, and he thought it was just gonna like hit like a ton of bricks, and like nobody cared about it. It was just like it just fell flat, and it sold like a paltry amount of units. And then he kind of was like, well, am I in the right field almost? And then that
Yeah.
Beauty Behind the Madness comes out in 2015, and
Yeah.
now I'm doing cocaine and can't feel my face, and
Yeah.
life's
love
good
it.
again. Yeah, just I
Yeah.
can't. I love it,
And I love it.
but it, he just keeps on pumping him out, right? And
Yeah.
even he's got he's got deluxe versions of his albums now that have only come out like a few years ago. He's already got different versions of it, so he's always got a release, it feels like, going, and since he's been active,
Yeah, he's always got something on the go. I really thought it was cool on Dawn FM. Did you notice that the narration on a couple of the songs?
Yeah, who is that?
Who was doing it? Jim Carrey.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a big Jim Carrey fan.
Yeah, and he's got him in there, and he's got him in. I think there's like part of one of his music videos or whatever he does.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, to get a cat like that on board with this, where he's such he goes from being this superstar to a very recluse artist, and now you pull him into this really dark, recluse album soundscape, and it works perfectly.
He said that when he saw The Mask when he was a kid, that was his like why he wanted to be an entertainer, because he saw Jim Carrey's performance in it. And then they like apparently met recently, like in 2019.
Okay.
And they found out that they lived like in the same neighborhood in Ontario, wherever that was.
Yeah.
And then Jim Carrey like came to his house on his 30th birthday and like took him out for breakfast and had like all these balloons sitting outside with his balloons outside of his door. And he's like, I went to, breakfast with Jim Carrey, like my idol.
day.
So
What a day.
yeah, totally. Nicole and I always talk about how like Jim Carrey, we feel like he got a bad rap. Like we're huge Jim Carrey fans, and it's just like he feels like he got typecast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the most talented.
Yeah. Well, he also made the choices too for those. But, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You got to see when Jim Carrey, I think it's an In Living Color sketch, and he's doing Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh,
Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Mhm.
I gotta check that out. Okay, here's something that I wanted to ask you guys about this. I don't know if you guys read about how he's not like in the Grammys anymore. Have you heard this?
No.
Okay. Well, like apparently he didn't get nominated for, what was it, the After Hours album?
Yeah.
It didn't get nominated that year, like was massive, did all this, it was unbelievable. So he like decided that he was going to boycott it, but it said that he will not submit any more music to the Grammys.
Huh.
And I'm like, you have to submit your music for them to consider it? Is that how that works?
I don't know.
Well, it's kind of the same thing with all those big Academy Awards movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Those movies get submitted, right? So I would assume it's the same thing.
So what are
I
these
thought
guys
the
pulling
Academy-
this? Sorry, Dan, go
Yeah,
ahead.
or
I thought the
Award
Academy nominated you. You've been nominated for such and such.
Oh,
That's
maybe,
what I
yeah.
thought. And then it just said he's not going to be submitting any more music to the Grammys. And I'm like, well, what's all this shit about guys who, bands are like, well, I don't care about the Grammy. Like, the Grammys
Yeah.
suck. Like, well, then why are you
Yeah.
submitting your material?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are you doing then? If you don't
Yeah,
believe in
like-
it, then don't do it. So he apparently does not submit any music. So that's why you don't see him
That's
winning any
bizarre.
Grammys.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you look all the way back to Pearl Jam when they got the Grammys. It's like this whatever. It's just
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything.
I'm going to act like it's no
An
big
award
deal.
for
Like, I'll
art.
put it in my basement for this shoot, and then I'll put it back
Yeah.
up on the mantle under
Yeah.
the spotlight. Just shining.
Yeah.
It's so sketch because like remember when Jay-Z was like, "Ugh, I'm not
Yeah.
showing up anymore," and then
Yeah.
was it the last one and he was there griping about how Beyonce
Yeah.
should have won more or something like that.
Yeah,
But
like basically, like she should have won album of the year because she had like sales were off the charts and whatever
Yeah.
streams were off the charts and all that.
and he goes from completely disinterested to like I remember there's like a scene of him sitting at a table with everybody and like with, like DJ Khaled and like
Yeah.
And he's got dreads.
dreads and
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
just
yeah.
acting like the boss. I'm like, this is weird. This isn't like
Yeah, yeah. Like, why do you care? Too, right? Like,
Yeah.
there must be some money involved to attach to that as well. But like,
I think so.
anyways, I got to do a little more digging on that because I didn't know that you had to submit your stuff to get recognized or whatever. I thought it was like you
Yeah,
said,
that's
just,
weird.
you did good. We're going to nominate you,
Yeah.
or you sold a lot.
What a system.
Yeah, like big surprise.
Yeah.
Big surprise. But and I mean Drake's involved here, right?
Gotta be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in there.
Gold.
He's in there.
Yeah.
I mean, he like posted his stuff on his like personal blog back in the day and then blew up. So, it's like getting on Oprah's book list. If you can do that, then
Why not?
you're in, right? That's
Yeah.
you got the golden touch. As soon as he
Yeah.
says you're good.
Yeah.
Apparently. That's how it
Yeah.
goes. But I don't know. I mean, that guy's got way too much influence.
It's unreal. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But hey, man, it's pretty sweet that we got a number one in the world that's from Canada.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hitting first milestones of like what is it, 100 million monthly listeners. The first to ever get that on the streaming platforms. It's like that's kind of cool.
Really?
Yeah.
40 billion plus for Blinding Lights alone.
Yeah.
40 billion streams on that. And just on Spotify.
That's
Yeah.
not even a number. That's so freaking crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I had to look at it and I was like, no, that's 4 billion
Yep.
on that stream count.
And I think just the last couple of days here, he hit, was it diamond for a couple of his singles? Just reached diamond status and like it's nothing.
I had no
Like-
idea he was this popular.
I didn't either. Like I said, there was a handful of songs that I knew that were on the radio and I thought, meh, they're okay, but he's not really doing anything. And then now you dig in, it's like, okay, I understand, I guess, but because the talent's there, the ideas are there, the art is there, but how does that explode to that point?
This is
Wild.
like this is
TikTok.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is TikTok. It never says this stuff, man. It's just like we ask, how do you make the beer? Nobody tells us. Like all of a sudden, I'm massive. I'm making mixtapes, and all of a sudden, Drake's knows me, and I'm on his
Yeah.
blog, and I'm massive. It doesn't even
it
just
was
like
such-
skips that whole part in Wikipedia. It's like, how?
Well, it was such like a short deal where he just starts recording and uploading things to YouTube with all this mysterious stuff and not really showing his face and not really showing who he is. and then he puts out an EP, and then all of a sudden he's massive.
Yeah.
Like within like a 2-year window.
I just don't get it how it just skips a whole section in Wikipedia and all the sites, and all of a sudden now I'm massive.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much on his Wikipedia. I couldn't even get through it all.
Yeah. And I mean, he's very, he's positioned himself too with lots of featuring tracks, right? So he is featuring or he has people on his tracks, right? Which is, obviously not his idea. This has been happening for years and centuries, but like, he's
getting the right people. He had Kendrick Lamar on one that was a really good track. There was a Lil Wayne one.
Yeah. I mean, even the girls know Weeknd too, because he's on K-pop. He's in there too.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So there's where your numbers are coming from.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Teen
right.
girls on K-pop.
Well, and it's hilarious too. I got to tell you guys this: at Christmas time, there's this house that's by us that has this it's like lights that kind of come on, but it's like it makes a screen, and it's like timed to this guy's thing, and there's like this like cartoon Weekend that does blinding lights, and you tune your radio in your truck to that, right? And it's just like blinding lights, but it's just like this cartoon like dancing Weekend. So we go to it every year because the girls.
That's awesome.
Well, I like watching it too. It's hilarious, but
I love seeing the ones where they've got they're playing Slayer. They got like Raining Blood, and then just the music, and you see all the glowing coming down, and then it just switches to those are cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, interactive. But no, it's good. It's good. Yeah, but anytime you can get Drake on your side, I guess that's what you need. But we tried to make it as a band. It wasn't overnight.
Yeah, but we didn't have Drake. So.
No.
Does The Weeknd have something on Drake?
Oh,
maybe.
I'm just gonna flame the conspiracy.
Started right now.
We'll
Started
just
right
leave
now.
that right there. We'll leave that right there. You do your own digging.
The basement's flooding and the bright lights out. All right, we want you guys to subscribe, share, and review this podcast. Keep it going, keep it strong, because we're having a great time entertaining you guys with B-Sides and Beers podcast.